What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be giving you some updates on the Civic. I know it's been some time. I have been slightly neglecting the Civic, and it's not purposely. I've just been so busy, from traveling to California to my new shirt drop, which you guys absolutely crushed it. I sold over 70 t-shirts. Thank you all so much. I feel like the wrap t-shirt was probably one of my best selling shirts yet. So I'm excited to get those shipped out to you guys. I'll be working on those as soon as I get back to Orlando, because today we are in Naples and I'm headed to GP1 Racing, where the Civic currently resides. GP1 Racing Mark is going to be helping me put the Civic back together. We have a lot of work to do, a lot of work to come, and I'm really excited for it. But guys, I just gotta get to work because the car isn't gonna put together itself, and I really want to be involved. I could just hire someone or pay, you know, GP1 Racing to really finish the car for me, but I want to record the content. I have been working on this car since it was a street car, and I know some of the work I can't do on my own, which is why Mark is going to be helping me. He builds transmissions and also sells strain gauges. So if you haven't checked out his strains, check them out. That's the one I currently run in my car, and a ton of other people run as well. They also sell them for not only the Civic platform, but Mitsubishi and tons of others. So check it out. GP1Racing.com has all the details there. One of my favorite things on the car is that strain, because it makes shifting so effortlessly. Today I get to do a walkthrough of the car. I have not put it on the lift to show you guys underneath. I did the roll cage underneath, so you guys will be seeing that today. Also guys, I forgot to mention, do not forget to hill that hill. Also guys, I forgot to mention, do not forget to hill that Also guys, I forgot to mention, do not forget to hill what the f?
Many hours later.
Also guys, I forgot to mention, do not forget to hit that bell icon so you get notified every time I upload. We are uploading weekly, every single Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so don't miss out. Again, hit the bell icon so you get notified. We're almost there, so let's go check out the Civic. Guys, just pulled up to GP1 Racing, and oh my gosh, we have my beautiful car here. I have missed her. Just seeing the way this blue shines right now, even though it's pretty filthy, you guys can probably see the dust, but it still looks good in this lighting. Just makes me really want to hurry up and finish this car. Not that I was unmotivated before, but I've just been so tied up and kind of just been pushing it to the side. Just seeing this here makes you want to like hurry up and finish it, because I'm so ready to go back down the track, and I can't wait to see the car in its final form, because we're getting a whole new look. You'll have to stay tuned to see exactly what we're gonna do, but I've gotta paint the cage and do tons of other stuff. So long story short, what's gonna happen here is we've got to put the car back together and then basically just tear it all apart. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but the point is I have to get the car painted in the inside and tons of other stuff. So we want to make sure before I send the car off to paint that it is ready to go, because I'm sure as we continue to work on it, we're going to need some more welding done, some more modification, little minor things and stuff like that. So I felt like it's best to just put it together first. We have the mock-up engine right now. So essentially what we're going to do is just mock up everything. We're going to put the manifold on. We're going to put the turbo on. We're going to set the car up as if it's gonna be, like I said, in its final form. And then from there, we'll have to tear it apart, get everything painted, and then putting it back together will hopefully be easy now that we kind of know how everything's gonna be. Here we have the front of the car, and I have my Gato intercooler that's pretty much just sitting here. Pretty much got to mock everything up. I'm gonna see if I'm gonna move it more to the right or more to the left. The goal when putting the car together is going to be thinking about in the future when we have to tear it apart at the track, what is gonna be the easiest placement of things. So want to make sure that I pretty much do everything now so that way later on I'm not thinking like, oh, I wish I would have done this or would have done that. Like I want to make sure that this car is ready to go and ready to compete and hopefully become a competitive car once it's all dialed in the X front wheel drive category. So got lots of work to do. I can't wait to just see it all one color because the white is just throwing me off. But I really love this new fiberglass Frank's front end that I got. It looks so good. It's super wide compared to my last front end, so it's gonna look good. And I got some new weld wheels that I'll be putting on the car. I'm actually selling my old set because I want to match with the new ones that I got in the front. So if you're interested in these, let me know. I am selling the weld wheel, or weld skinny I should say, along with the tire. That'll all come with it. So if you're interested in that, be sure to send me an email. I'll have it listed in the description below. Back here we have Mark's car. Many of you all who follow the Honda world may know of this car, may have seen this car. This is actually the fastest all-wheel drive K-Series. I believe he's like number 3 or 4 on the list. The first 3 cars are B-Series. Again, like I said, he's the fastest K-Series all-wheel drive, so pretty cool to see this thing. I love the gray color on it. I believe he had some issues during the last track session, so he's got the engine apart at JBR Engines. Once that comes back, I think it's good to go. I'll have to ask him. And also, I'll have him answer some questions regarding this car when he comes back in here. For now, I'm gonna go ahead and put the car up higher and show you guys underneath, because this is something that I haven't been able to show you guys since I don't have a lift at home. We have the car all the way up on the lift. I can show you all finally underneath. So as you guys can see, this is part of the cage, and you'll typically see this inside of the car on the floor. I saw Ricky Chassis do this underneath on a few other cars, and I was like, dude, this is just awesome because now I don't have to worry about any bars being on the floor in my way. It just makes space pretty much in the inside on the floor, and it just looks so much cleaner in my opinion. So it came out so nice. Huge shout out again to Ricky Chassis. He absolutely killed it with the cage. It looks so nice. So I want to get all of this painted. Even though it's underneath, I want all of the bars to be the same color. You'll have to stay tuned to find out which color I am choosing. All that is coming. For right now, like I said, we're going to be wrenching today. Just crazy to see this car go through so many different phases. And I'm so grateful to have shared this with you guys. Y'all saw this car from the very beginning when it was just a little street car. I love driving this thing on the street, took it to the track for the first time, got hooked, and the rest is history. So many people are like, oh, you ruined the EM1.
You ruined it.
Oh, you did this. Oh, that. The car was ruined when I bought it, guys. It came with a K-Series already in it. It was K20, which is why I currently have a K20, because if it would have came with the original B-Series, I probably would have left that in there for sure. It was never the plan. I didn't buy the car and be like, I'm just gonna buy an EM1 and just tear it apart and destroy it. Like, that was not the plan. Like, didn't buy that car to do a drag car, because obviously the EM1s cost way more money. To be more efficient, I would have bought just a regular Honda Civic and did this to it. But again, was never the plan. That's why this car has gone through so many different phases. I was supposed to build the car to have a naturally aspirated engine, and I was like, you know what, let's go with the turbo. That's when I started with the 6266, which is currently on my Evo. Evo blew up, which that was never the plan too. I bought the Evo to create content while I was building the Civic for the drag strip. Evo ended up blowing up. Then I was like, built the engine. Then I was like, I don't want to put a stock turbo on an engine that's built. It's obviously capable to handle more. Let's go ahead and just throw the 6266. Since that really wouldn't put me in any class with the Civic, I would have just done index racing. I'm just happy that, you know, I started with this chassis and we are still working with the same chassis. And it's just really cool to see like my vision come to life. With the previous setup that I had, when the car was all blue, I was like, I want to do a carbon fiber hood, I want this, I want that. And little by little, I made it happen. That's really why it took so much time as well. Like, a lot of people were doubting me, like, oh, you're never going to finish the car, or this or that. Like, I went through so many changes. Because as I started making friends with drag racers and this and that, I kind of realized, like, you learn. You're like, okay, so this is not going to work. This is not going to work. This is pointless. And I would say one thing led to another with the influence of friends, and I would say Robert Maps, rest in peace to him. He was a big influence on the car and it helped me tremendously in the beginning. Definitely miss him. I think the community misses him a lot as well. But yeah, for today, we've got a lot of work to do. It's like a huge puzzle. I don't even know where to start. But I think right now, like I said, we're just gonna end up mocking everything up, clocking the turbo, putting on the turbo manifold so that way I can put the turbo on and kind of get the idea. I still have to do the piping. Vibrant Performance has helped me out tremendously when it comes to this build. I have tons of parts for them. We have a lot of fabrication that still needs to be done. And then I'll have to take the car to a friend who's gonna help me do all the piping and all of that stuff. It's ready to be an extreme front wheel drive car. I'm ready to start driving. So let's get started and start throwing this thing back together. All right guys, so I'm here with Mark, owner of GP1 Racing. And here we have, I wasn't sure if it was number 3 or 4. It was number 3?
Currently number 3, world's fastest K-Series all-wheel drive.
Nice. And I think this car was previously front-wheel drive as well.
Yeah, so it's got some history. The chassis was originally owned by Felix Medina. It was actually the first 8-second front-wheel drive on a 24.5. Tony Paulo did the first Honda front-wheel drive 8-second pass ever, which was on a 26, but Felix did it on a 24.5.
Nice. This car's been around for some time. It's pretty cool to see a shell.
Yes. If you ever Google Felix Medina and, or on YouTube, you can see the car's been, wrapped in AEM before. It was white. It's been a lot of renditions. We had it front-wheel drive.
How many seasons did you run front-wheel drive? Was it just 1? 2?
2 or 3. I know we were number 1 or number 2 fastest front-wheel drive K-Series at that time.
Back then, it really wasn't. That's when all the all-wheel drive stuff was kind of new. Soon, I think, it can become its own class eventually. I was telling everybody how you do transmissions and you got the strain, which is kind of how we met with the transmission. You built mine, and I was telling them also that I run your strain gauge. I feel like a lot of people pretty much in this car world run your gauge, so. We
started off, trying to find a niche of what we can do to kind of help out the market and, be actually a stocking dealer when it came to performance transmission parts. That was a niche that really wasn't there, 5 or 7 years ago when we started getting into this heavily. Now we do in-house all K-Series transmission builds. Anything from a sequential to dog box.
Strain gauges is the topic. A lot of people want to know exactly, because not everyone's familiar with them and what they do, so I feel like you could probably explain that really quick.
So strain gauge is, there's a few different ways to cut ignition when it comes to shifting without a clutch. Ours is a load sensor, so it senses load when you actually grab or touch the shifter. It sends a load or, tells the ECU of your choice, anything from Fuel Tech to Motec to, AEM, Haltech. There's a bunch on the market that have strain settings in their computer. And when it senses a load, it knows to cut the ignition and or what a fuel to make the shift like you were pushing the clutch in. So you don't have to push the clutch in, you just use the strain, but this has to be used on a dog box or sequential. Right.
Well, a lot of people don't realize too, because these cars at this caliber, we can't just, like, power shifting is just not, that's just breaks parts. So this essentially eliminates the power shifting.
Well, you're still full throttle shifting, but you're not using the clutch. Correct. And it also, I think, is safer because you're not unloading the chassis and loading the chassis. Because when you push the clutch in, you're basically unloading the chassis and then reloading it, and boost is coming out and coming back in very heavily.
Exactly.
So, when you see people sometimes get squirrely up top, that sometimes is when the boost is coming in too hard. And when you have a strain, your tuner can set the cuts so it's not like you're completely pushing in the clutch, and they can ramp boost in a lot more, not as aggressively as you would be when you're pushing in a clutch.
Right. So, well, if you guys check out some of my videos, you'll see where I basically use the clutch just for first gear, and once you let off, you're basically shifting clutchless, essentially.
Same thing with a sequential. An H pattern, you're basically, shifting at an H. You're shifting down for second, up for third, down for fourth.
Right.
Sequential, you're just pulling back on the lever, to go to second, third, and fourth, and fifth.
All right, well, thank you for the knowledge. Just wanted to share with those because a lot of people have asking me. I guess I'll have to do a video talking about that a little bit further. So you guys can see Mark is very knowledgeable, and I appreciate his help previously on the car, and now we're really going to compete in the X front wheel drive. So I had to redo my car, get a new cage in it. So The cage previously was good for 850s. Now with the new cage, it should be good for 6.0s, and I did that just in case if I want to go all-wheel drive in the future. We'll see. I mean, regardless, I just wanted it to be capable and more safe, to be honest. So, yeah, I don't know what we're doing today. I know we have a lot of work, a lot of mocking up to do, and I think that's pretty much what we're going to be doing today.
You know, now we're at the put it together and then unassemble again stage. So this is the part that everybody hates. You kind of get the car fully assembled. You know, do the grinding, cutting, and all that stuff that you need to now. We're going to try to do as much as we can in-house. That doesn't require welding. That's something I don't do, is welding. So,
I'm learning.
It's hot as shit, but
I'm burning a hole.
we'll, you know, get all the fuel lines. We'll get it pretty much looking like it's ready to run. Take it apart.
Yep.
And then she's, you know, going to
paint or wrap paint. I gotta paint a little bit.
She's gonna paint the bay and the inside.
Yeah, when we lower the car I can show a little bit more. I don't think I've had the car in like this good lighting. I guess let's lower this thing and I can kind of show inside and show the engine bay and why I have to repaint that, because the engine bay was previously nice, but now that I did the cage, we got bars in there, everything's pretty much different. So I'll go ahead and get this thing lowered. Alright, so the car really hasn't changed much since you guys last saw it, other than the turbo manifold being on. I just got this made by Gato Performance. Huge shout out to him. Also got his intercooler here. We have his manifold as well, the intake manifold. So pretty much running all of his parts. We also got a catch can inside right there, done by him custom. So yeah, pretty much now, like I said, this is all mock-up. It's pretty much empty, as you guys can see. And we're gonna be using this to basically mock everything else up with it, because nothing's really going to change other than it'll have actual parts inside of it.
We're going to need some custom cables from KDN. We moved the seat back.
Yes, so I got...
So she can actually be underneath the funny car part. That's a big thing we wanted to do with the safety part. We see a lot of racers have a, you know, 25.5 built, and then they're sitting in front of the funny car part.
So he's referring to, as you guys can see here, my seat is flush in here, so I'm safe behind here. A lot of people don't think about that, and then by the time they put their seat in, you're like sitting right here, which means if the car rolls over, you're basically not protected at all. I mean, you have some bars above there, but this is the ultimate safety. It's the hoop that goes around your entire skull, so you want to make sure that you're sitting behind there. Doing so, we had to move everything completely forward, meaning the steering wheel is all new. We got all this custom. I got new Wilwood pedals that pretty much is custom to me. Shifter box had to move back, so going back on what he said, we have to get custom cables now, because now, since the box moved further, cables aren't long enough to meet the transmission. So basically no one will ever be able to drive this car other than me. It's made around me, unless someone's like the same height, then I guess it would work. So yeah, I guess what's the main thing on the list today?
We're gonna make the list. So basically, we're just gonna go over everything and make sure we have all the right fittings to start doing all the lines. You know, we're gonna put the throttle body on. Again, play with the intercooler a little bit more. See where we like it so it's not in the way of fuel lines, you know, because we are gonna have to have some tabs welded so it's permanently mounted and stuff like that. But you know, this is the mock-up time when you get to play with making it very efficient to work on when it's gonna break. It's a race car.
Right. Of course, and then we push these things to the limit, so...
You know, when you're making 400 to 500 horsepower a hole on a 4-cylinder, that's a lot. So, you know, like she said, we're pushing these to the limit. And
I mean, unfortunately, the more competitive you get, I'm seeing every other pass. I mean, you're lucky to run an entire event without an engine swap, I would say, to be honest, when competing competitively.
Working on it.
Right, for sure. For sure.
You know, like example on my car, when I was going 790s, I would check plugs. Now that we're in the 730s, it's a full routine of maintenance in between events, all that stuff.
Yeah, that's a lot of stuff people don't get to see behind the scenes. So I'm excited to get back out to racing and bringing you guys behind the scenes. It's honestly, it's fun, it's stressful, but in the end, you know, it's becomes rewarding whenever we do get those wins or make it to the semifinals or finals. Makes, you know, I think my favorite part is just seeing the team get excited afterward after a clean pass, or a good pass, I should say. So yeah, pretty much like I said, we're just gonna be little by little. It's pretty much in shell right now. literally, even the freaking engine is a shell. So we have a lot of work to do. So I think establishing a list has to be number one thing. I'm a list person for sure. So then we can cross things off and hopefully get this thing running in, I don't even want to say a date. I feel like every time I say a date, it's not, doesn't make it.
The goal is definitely to have it out over the summer.
Yeah, I would hope by like July, whether it's mid-July and July, we get it started, and then by August we're testing. My goal is to race at FL2K in October here in Bradenton Motorsports Park in Florida. So hopefully that'll be the car with the new setup, and by then I'm hoping it's dialed in and, you know, ready to compete. So fingers crossed, let's see if we can make that happen. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, here we have my Ross Machine throttle body. So I'm gonna go ahead and take off the intake manifold and mount this on there. This is what I'm going to be running. So yeah. Alright guys, quick update. This is where we're pretty much stopping at for the day. So I got the turbo mocked up and also have the Ross Machine throttle body on. Got the water pump plate on. Coming to a stop because I have to order some fittings now so we can do the fuel pump lines, water lines, do all of that stuff next. All of the fun stuff to come. So much little things really to do. It's like a puzzle, slowly putting the pieces together. And then, like I said, last thing after we pretty much do our job, we'll be taking it to a good friend of ours who does fabrication to do the piping. And once he does his welding job and all that stuff, then it pretty much comes back to us where we have to tear apart everything, send it off to paint so I can get everything painted. As y'all can see here in the engine bay, we have to do, you know, all this has to be removed to weld. So, and if I end up switching the color, all of this has to change. So you gotta stay tuned for more updates and to see what color I end up doing. Thank you again so much. Got a lot of little things to do.
Doesn't look like much is done, but everything takes time.
Literally spent 40 minutes on the damn throttle body, but we're not gonna talk about that. But yeah, no, I appreciate your help. Looking forward to getting this car done and racing with you guys, even though we're in two different classes, but we're always pitted next to each other with JBR and everyone else. So hopefully we can get this thing running soon. So forgot to show you guys some of the stuff that we have going soon. Got the shift lights gonna go over here. We've got my dash. Got Randy who was here not too long ago, so he kind of made his little notes in here with everything. Thinking about putting the keypad here, so when I sit in the seat, I can shut off the car, do whatever I need to do. Really excited, I can't wait. Looking forward to using this during my shutdown. Can't wait to see what it feels like, even though I feel like I never really got a true shutdown feeling since I've still went pretty slow. Alright guys, so that's it for today's video. Hope you all enjoyed the updates. So much more to come because this is just the beginning. My goal for June is to tackle this car down and hopefully get it started in July. My birthday's in July, so it'd be really nice to get it started then and hopefully go testing whether we get it started in July or August. Really want to make it to FL2K, so that's the goal. Stay tuned. Thank you guys again so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you always get notified. Like I say, trust the process, never give up. I'll catch you guys in the next video.